Next up in the series of practice pads that I personally own and I would recommend, this one also comes as probably the best all-rounder that you can get. I don't think it's the best for practice in general, but I think it's the best for overall. If you were to get one pad only, the rest of your career, which you should, don't be me and get obsessed with different materials and specs and all that, is the Outlander by Offworld. The reason I recommend the Outlander versus the Invader, which is their full 12-inch, foot-long radius pad, is because you don't need it. You don't need it. This has the same material. It's the same thickness as the Outlander, as the Invader, sorry. It just doesn't have as nice of a rim. That's the only difference. And even then, the rim on that pad is louder. And it's also really hard to carry around. It's a thick, heavy pad. Most backpacks just straight up will not be able to hold it. This, the small, not the medium, small, is a 9-inch pad. That is more than enough for any kind of movement, any kind of dynamic differences. So if I need to play, more towards the front of the pad, towards the back of the pad, you're going to get this back logo either way, so don't even worry about that. But the rim sounds nice and snappy. It's good. Sorry if you can hear that. The marching band actually at the high school is playing right now. But the material that they use on this, really bouncy, really articulate. If you play marching snare, Offworld is the brand to go, and I would go with the Outlander. The reason I would go with the Outlander is it's only 9 inches. You can fit it in almost every single bag. The rim is a low profile plastic rim. It is not a high metal rim, so you're not going to have to deal with accidentally hitting rim shots and then chewing through your sticks, because that's a problem with the metal rim, is that you'll chew through practice sticks. And if you're breaking practice sticks, then and you're also breaking performance sticks because you're playing on snare, the cost racks up over time, and it's honestly not worth it. And you get this surface on the back as well. It is a non-slip surface here that you can play on if you need like a little bit quieter, but if you play with any kind of accents or anything, it's gonna play through anyway, so it doesn't really matter, and it will never be as quiet as a conditioning pad like a Reflex pad. It's also just not recommended to play on. Like, kids will do it all the time to be a little bit quieter. I understand that, but it's not what it's meant for. It's meant to keep your pad from slipping around and moving on a 9-inch pad like this. It's really, really important. 9 inches is about as small as I would go in order to have a pad that's still functional while not moving around as much. Because if you try to go any smaller, then you have to get a leg strap, and if you go any bigger, you can go bigger, but if you want a smaller practice pad, 9 inches is just about good, because you're not going to get anything between 6 and 9 really, and if you can, it's going to be weird, and 6-inch practice pads really aren't that useful. So the Visitor and any of the new Offworld pads that they're doing, like the Visitor and all that stuff with the modules, and it's a really expensive pad for no reason. I think the pad itself is $45 now. It was $70 when it first came out. The modules are like an extra $25 each if you want snare sound or whatever, which just means it's going to put beads on the bottom of your pad. Unless you are like Ralph Nader or any of those guys that practice and perform online, and if you are, you're probably not watching this video, and you perform on a practice pad, like that's how you play. You don't play on a marching snare, you play on a practice pad. and that's your show, you don't need beads in it. It's really useless. It's for show, it's for effect, it's for sound, and you don't need that when you play because it doesn't affect your playing. So don't invest. It's not worth the extra money. If you need a all-around pad to simulate a snare, go with the Outlander. The low-profile rim, save your sticks. The articulate surface that they use, I forget what proprietary thing they call it. I think it's their like, I forget honestly. It's stupid. It's just really good. And if you need to clean it, like I should probably clean mine, turtle wax. By the way, if you have a bunch of little holes in it, that's usually how they ship, so don't be worried. I ended up posting on Reddit about that. Don't worry about it. The only reason I even have this pad, though, is because I was actually without a performance pad when I was trying to audition for a drum line, and all I had was my Reflex pad. And if you're trying to record an audition, a conditioning pad is not enough because it's not going to display your playing as well because they're not going to be able to hear it. That's why this pad is overall great. I still recommend you get a conditioning pad, but this is your one-stop shop. This is $35. $35, that's it. It's cheaper than the Reflex pad. That's cheaper than the Innovative Percussion pad. That's cheaper than most or all pretty much 12-inch pads. And it provides the best size in my opinion. So that's the Outlander pad.